similar to how a radio homes in on different waves to pick up radio stations. This also applies to the influence of gravity. In essence, independently of any reference frame, there are no fundamental forces. All interactions within our abstract continuity can be mathematically derived through interference and resonance as long as the ever-changing and fluctuating minimum unit or quantum, being the frame of reference, is taken into account. Experimental evidence includes the unseen effect in the standard model, where we can see the force effect, but not the actual force carriers.
This is really, really interesting. In this, they have two apples, and both apples are identical, but different colors. And we're listening to a lot of words, electromagnetics. Electric meaning energy, a force. Magnetic has two properties. It attracts and repels. And again, science sometimes is like, you can get so far deep into science and not find the relationship it has with our experiences. What does it mean in the bigger picture? And you can see the two apples being attracted like a magnet, not repelling, but attracting. And what is similar? There's patterns within patterns. There's another science that I happen to love, because I think it explains so much shit, which is the Mandelbrot set, which means there's pattern within patterns that keep repeating all the time. There is another concept out there that we're not quite understanding, which is the law of attraction, which is nothing more than an understanding of magnetics. And this law of attraction that is out in the world seems to be saying, try it, give it a try. And it's like, no, it's not about trying. It's a matter of you are doing it all the time, but you're not aware of it. You are attracting every single thing you want to experience. If you don't like your experience, what you're not recognizing is you are attracting exactly what you want. You are attracting the apple that's identical to what's inside you, but it's a different color, so you can't recognize that it's the same thing, only because the color is different. It's more of an awakening to, oh, what I'm attracting is actually what's inside me. It's your magnetics, your energy, in a way, is thought. What you think about creates a feeling, and it's only feelings that have energy. You can go into a room and you can feel the vibrations in that room. If everybody's happy, you can walk in that room and feel this wave of happiness from everybody. You can go into a room, if everybody's angry, without anybody saying a word, you can feel everybody's angry. Feelings are the waves that creates this magnetic pull or push. Everything is magnetic. The world revolves around the sun, all having to deal with magnetics. You attract everything you experience magnetically. So you have to look at what's in the core of yourself. If you don't like what you're attracting, maybe look at what feelings you have inside you. It's almost like, oh, what I'm attracting is just something I don't like. Why is it you don't like it? Because you don't understand it. How can I explain this even better? One thing that I have noticed in my life experience was I was able to attract some of the wildest things. The universe was constantly against me when I made an announcement out into the world that this is what I was going to attract. I was going to attract an airbrush. Magically, I said, God's mailing me an airbrush, when an airbrush had broken. I had some religious group come into my house saying, no, that's not how God works, and because I was saying God's mailing me an airbrush. I had the whole community, family, everybody saying, no, you know, they were laughing at me, but I was having so much fun, and I believed it, without a doubt. There was just so much joy inside me. The vibrations inside me said, God's mailing me an airbrush. Within 2 weeks, an airbrush was mailed to me. I did the same thing with a house. That I lived in a very wealthy community. I had no money. I had no credit. I had no income. I had nothing that society would say you could afford a house in this expensive area. But within 2 weeks, a house magically appeared. At the same time, I'm repeating abusive patterns. Although I thought, I'm going to beat this, I'm not going to repeat the same patterns as my parents. And then after 52 years, I ended up repeating the same pattern, which led to the study of everything I know today. And the abuse that I experienced was because I was constantly believing in the system that doesn't work. Every law, every reality, everything that's holding this matrix together is what I was doing, which created all of the abuse experiences. If I followed my true self, I wouldn't have experienced any of that abuse. So it's like when you're experiencing something you do not like, it's because you're going against your true self. And it is the wildest thing that when I did crash and burn, it's a reflection of, okay, what's in my mind, what's in my belief, what's really going on. And when I crashed and burned and realized, okay, all of society, all of our consciousness, all of our mindset says, you need to fit in. You need to put a round peg in a square hole, which is impossible. You have to do everything you don't want to do. And it's like, why would I want to do everything I don't want to do? And I needed to do some healing. My physical body was being injured by following the systems. I was very angry that society wasn't really understanding what they were doing. And so I was getting a lot of labels that I was mentally ill, that I had an anger management problem, and it's like, wait a minute, how does that make any sense? You break every law that you happen to believe in, because there was a hell of a lot of laws that were broken. Police were not doing their jobs. Politicians were not doing their jobs. Judges were not doing their jobs. A father who loves his children was not loving his children. And I'm trying to say, what you're doing is really, really harmful. And, you know, it's like if somebody's going to abuse you, the human natural instinct is to get mad about it. So it's like humanity wants to do you harm, but you're supposed to enjoy it, which doesn't seem to make any sense to me. We all agree that if somebody does you harm, you're going to be angry. So how is that an anger management problem? My anger was very well managed. This was something worthy of being angry about. And the level of my anger was in direct proportion for how wrong the friggin' universe is. So it's like, okay, I gotta play the game of society. They want me to enjoy the process, enjoy everything that's wrong, calm down, have a smile on my face, and communicate more effectively, more peacefully, more lovingly. So the concept of giving your problem what it wants is a wild, wild concept, but it really does work. It will attract the magnetics, the experience you want to experience. So in my physical health problems, it was the same thing. What does my physical health want? What is the evil? What is the problem that I was experiencing? What does it want? And all of it said, calm down, relax, you need a vacation. It was really odd that all throughout my 10-year abusive divorce, whenever I went into a counselor, they would say, well, what is it you want? And it's like, oh, give me a vacation and I'll be fine. You know, just give me a couple of weeks on a beach and I'll just be fine. And ironically, when I crashed and burned, listening to myself, just giving up on the system and just going with the flow. Bruce Lee said it best, that you're strongest when you go with the energy instead of fighting the energy. So it was like I was just listening to myself, listening to the universe. What is it you want? I ended up in a town that was really small, vacation area, nice beaches, mountains, really, really hot weather. Ended up on a welfare system. So I am now earning the same income I did when I was working basically 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, trying to support my kids. They now had labeled me to be mentally ill. They could see I had physical problems, and they were willing to pay me. So I attracted exactly what I wanted. What I needed was this vacation, was this time off from the system. The system wanted me to calm down, so I've calmed down. But yet society is judging me to not be attracting what it is I want. And it's like, but I attracted what I wanted perfectly. It doesn't look like the same apple, like the same color, but in actual fact, it is exactly what it is I wanted to attract. I'm living fine. I'd rather live in a different way. I do believe that earning an income through a social service is dead, dead wrong. But I also believe that working for a corporate structure that's actually killing people is more wrong and causes a social service. Both ends of this problem are social welfare. We're finding out now that you have to bail out these corporations, just like you have to bail out people that can no longer function within itself. And who's paying the price? The middle guy that doesn't know what's going on yet. The middle guy that is attracting exactly what it wants. The middle guy wants to attract this welfare system. The middle guy is working every day to sustain a corporate structure that's actually taking advantage of them at all costs, emotionally and physically, and it wants to financially support all of the problems that are created by these cost-effective rules created by our corporate system that says we got to make that profit, at all costs.